And this initiative, according to government, promises some massive investment in road infrastructure across the country with the goal of unlocking markets, boosting productivity, and also stimulating some long-term growth. But is this the right move at the right time? That is a question we are asking. With debt levels high, IMF restrictions in play, urgent needs across multiple sectors, many are wondering, can roads alone carry the weight of our economic recovery, or is Ghana betting big on a narrow path? And joining us this morning is Dr. Valentin Mensah, and he's an economist, and he's here to help us unpack the real implications of the big push, and also we'll dive into the strategies, potential, the risks, the funding puzzle, and what it could mean for businesses, for farmers, for citizens across the country, really. Doc, good morning. You're welcome to the Business Breakfast on Z.
Yeah, good morning, and good morning to your cherished listeners.
Doc, thank you very much for making time. We'll get right into the conversation. Maybe my very first question to you would be your initial reaction when you heard about the big push and the plans of government to actually allocate all these funds into road infrastructure.
Thank you. Yeah, the big push is an economic concept developed for the developing countries in order to assist them with their economic development. It assumes that most developing countries have obstacles or bottlenecks. For example, before you can develop, it's assumed that before you can develop, your social overhead capital must be top-notch. Meaning that you must have roads, you must have education, health, and then also the other infrastructure to be able to allow investment and in savings to grow in your country for economic growth. So if you don't have such critical or crucial investments, then your your growth will not take off. So in the economics, we always say the country should have a takeoff for economic development. So arguably, Ghana hasn't had the takeoff because we haven't done the right investment, or our income level is so low that we haven't managed to reach the equilibrium or the level where we will benefit from high economic growth because of the bottlenecks which are inherent with the developing countries. Because there's low income and low savings and then low investments. So the big push, if you manage to mobilize funds and invest in the critical areas or the priority areas, then you will create the environment for the economic forces to operate for economic development.
I see, Doc. So by the investment, are you by any way talking about, because this is just specifically on infrastructure, isn't it?
Yes, yes, specifically on infrastructure, but the government's big push comprises other areas, but infrastructure is more important now.
Right. Okay. Let's stick to the infrastructure, and more specifically road infrastructure. I want to know, before we continue, why do governments, including Ghana, often turn to infrastructure, especially roads, as a foundation for growth?
Thank you very much for the question. Yes, so if you take Ghana, the transport or communication holistically, you will see that far as to our road, railway, and even water network. So, for example, if you take the railway, most countries, like even Cote d'Ivoire next door, they have a railway from Abidjan to Ouagadougou. They transport most of their goods by railway to Ouagadougou and Mali. In addition to that, their road network is now top notch. Could be one of the best in Africa.
I see.
And if you look at their economic growth for the past 10 years, it's reflected in the fact that they have, even after their civil war and instability, they've undergone the high economic growth, and now even they've recaptured their position as the wealthiest in West Africa per capita. So if you divide their GDP by their population, it's the richest country in West Africa, ahead of Ghana and Nigeria.
Mm.
And it's all because they took infrastructure seriously. And currently, when we were going for the IMF facility for our debt, they went for the IMF facility for a big push like ours. And when you visit the country, it's reflected everywhere. Their infrastructure, the movement of goods and people. And for example, this morning, I started my journey from Abidjan at 6 a.m. Now I'm over 300 kilometers away from Abidjan. And I had to stop somewhere for this discussion.
All right.
So 3 hours, I'm going to Boaké, which is 330 kilometers from Abidjan. I'll spend about 6 hours and return to Abidjan.
By road?
And in Ghana, yes, by road, by motorway, and it's all motorway. So how did our neighbor manage to construct this motorway, about 350 kilometer motorway, where you can drive non-stop at the minimum of 110 kilometers per hour? So are you going to compete with this country on the after, when they can easily drive to Burkina Faso, drive to the Ghanaian border, drive to the Liberian border, when we cannot?
All right.
So it's a good directive or a good policy for the government, but then we have to ensure that it's well implemented.
We'll talk about the things that would make it well implemented. But Doc, let's stay on that a little bit longer. Now, of course, from what you said, it is clear that road infrastructure is very, very important to development. But is that the right move for Ghana now? Or do you think some other sectors could have a stronger ripple effect?
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, I talked about the social overhead capital. Relatively, Ghana, when it comes to education and health, we are a bit ahead of our other African countries. But economically, like as I was saying, the infrastructure, we are not. And if you've educated your people and you have good health system for quality human resource, why are you preventing them from being able to track and exchange with each other? See, like we say, human beings, we have the inherent quality to exchange whatever we can do best for what we need. So if the environment is right, the average person will not need to depend on the government for his or her needs.
Okay.
Because we would exchange with one another. And the barter system of most traditional societies had that. But now we've migrated and people are leaving the cities and others are living in the villages. How do we trade with those in the villages and cities? It's the only way is by road, especially when you don't have the railway or a water body to transport the goods. All we can have is road at the moment.
So you believe?
And if you have the road system, hello.
No, go ahead, Doc. Go ahead.
So for example, Navongo to Moon Road My dad used to be a civil engineer. When I was about 10 years, my dad was constructing that road. And for over 50 years, that road has never been good. And that should be the maize hub of Ghana, that area.
Yeah.
So if the farmers find it difficult to track their maize to Kumasi or Accra, they didn't motivate other farmers to grow maize. And so most of the unemployed people there, they are not able to farm to their capacity because transportation is a bottleneck.
I see.
And then even from Wa to Boli or even to Tamale, and then to Kumasi, that is also not a very good road network. So it's something that we have to do, but we've been doing it piecemeal. So you construct this road for 2 years. By the time we go to the other road, the already contracted before has already it's already dilapidated.
And that's
so you have to go and seek funds to come and reconstruct it.
Doc, that is a major problem you're highlighting. What exactly is causing that? I believe it's a maintenance issue. What do you think?
Okay, first of all, we always say corruption. See, the corruption, when you have a contract, the road contract, the markup or margin is not very high. So if you have a contract and you're already paying 10% or 15%, it's eating into the cost of the road construction. So the contractor would have to compromise on the specifications. So if I have to use 10 bags of cement, I will not be able to do that. Because of the kickback, some of the money has already been taken before you are granted the contract. So that is the first thing. The second is also the fact that we are not able to complete the project in time. Most of the projects are always delayed with huge variation. So we want to construct about 100-kilometer road. We end up constructing 50, and the rest will be abandoned for a while. Let's look at the Tema to the Tema Kusumbu or Tema to the border to Aflao, and even Ofanko to Sawam. This road network should have been completed long time ago. We ran out of funds and it's been abandoned. So as it is, it's not benefiting the country. The money that we went and borrowed, we cannot repay because as it is, it's not generating enough income to repay. And then also, most importantly, as a country, we have been socialized into taking everything as free. If I tell you these 300 kilometers I've traveled on the motorway today, how much I've paid in road tolls, you would say it's unbelievable.
Okay.
So for the 330 kilometers, I paid 4,500 CFA, and that's equivalent of 90 cities.
I see.
If you bring this to Ghana, they will say they won't pay. Recently, the president was saying that we're going to reintroduce road toll, and it's going to be one city. One city in this current world, or Ghana. It will even cost more to collect the one city. have to shift our paradigm to the fact that roads it's not cheap. And we were being told by our colonial masters that railway is much cheaper than road. At the time, we didn't listen. After independence, we still didn't understand why it's cheaper to operate a railway system than having roads to track your goods. And so we are here. Most of the trucks, currently, most of the trucks from most of our landlord nations pass through Ghana.
Yeah.
Most of them could have used Cote d'Ivoire. Why aren't they using Cote d'Ivoire and they are using Ghana? Because our tolls are cheap, our charges are cheap.
I see.
Even before, our fuel was cheap. But now the fuel has been, the price has been adjusted. So what we charge the truck drivers for using our roads and even for the DVLA charges for entering Ghana are much cheaper than Cote d'Ivoire. Because Cote d'Ivoire, you pay for what you use. And that's how it has helped them to maintain that excellent infrastructure.
And so, Doc, so you are calling for, increase in the amount we pay for road tolls, isn't it?
Pardon?
I'm saying, so you are calling for an increase in the amount we'll be paying for the road tolls.
Yes, absolutely. And you see what I also found here, that they use a lot of coaches like VIP that we use in Ghana. So the person will park his car, and then the VIP on that excellent road will reach the destination and return. So if I'm going to Sunyani, I can park my car, take the coach early in the morning, and return the same day and take my car. So I can go and visit my family in Sunyani for about 4 or 5 hours if I wake up at 5 and set off at 6 and come back to Accra by 7 p.m. And that is what I'm doing today. That's a 330-kilometer road. I'll be back in Abidjan by 7 p.m.
I see. Okay, Doc, let's continue the conversation. I want us to highlight the gap. How would you describe the current state of road network and its economic implications, especially in rural and peri-urban areas across the country?
Okay, thank you very much. I think at the moment, our road network is very bad and disappointing for a country that has been independent for about 65 years or more. If you look at, for example, the main arteries like Accra to Kumasi and Sunyani, if you Accra to Cape Coast and Takoradi, Accra to Aflao, if we want to trade with our neighbors, these roads should have been in excellent form now, but they aren't. And even if you look at the road from Accra to Takoradi and Takwa, you have most of the mining companies there operating. So logistically, if their equipment arrive at the port, even Tema or Takoradi, transporting them to Takwa is a problem. From Accra to Takwa, I've spent more than 9 hours before. And Accra to Takoradi, about 7-8 hours. So this journey could have been 2.5 hours.
Okay. With the same kilometer
if you have this system in your country, you are operating a closed country. country because it will lead to unemployment. Most people will be in the rural areas and then find nothing to do because what they could have done and transported to the cities would not be difficult to easy to do. So they wouldn't do it. So they will sit there and hope that somebody will come and help them or give them some money. Meanwhile, they have a capacity somewhere that they can use to exchange for what they need.
I see. All right, Doc, please hold on for me. Well, if you just tune in, this is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM with me, Nietzsche B. Hammond. And this morning on our roundtable discussion, we're talking about the big push and whether it is right time for the government to be pursuing that massive infrastructure, road infrastructure, really. And my guest is Dr. Valentin Mensah. He's an economist and he's helping me have this conversation this morning. I would love to hear from you. If you have a question, comment, or you want to share your thoughts with us, please send us a WhatsApp. The number to text is 0544-321019, 0544-321019. You can as well call me on 03039-56641, 03039-56641. And then we'll give you the opportunity to share your thoughts with us. We're streaming live on Facebook at ZFMGH and also on YouTube at Z Multimedia. You may want to visit these platforms, drop a comment, and then we give you the opportunity. We'll read your comments for you. Okay, Doc, let's continue the conversation. Are you still with me, please?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. I think your sound is better now. I want to know what are some, how might better roads help reduce, I know you didn't talk about the post-harvest losses that we continue to face, but that's a major thing that people continue to, face in the country in terms of transporting their produce to several parts of the country. How might better roads help reduce that?
Thank you very much for this question again. I traveled from Accra to Cote d'Ivoire on Sunday. And then when I crossed the border, I could see, they've got a lot of pickups transporting cassava. Because, the Art People food is the acheke cassava.
Yeah.
So they were transporting cassava from the villages to the towns on the way to Abidjan to make their acheke. And if you look at how the system is operating, it confirms that Adam Smith's principle of tracking and exchanging. Because these small pickups, the way they transform the pickups to transport cassava, we don't have it. We only have the big trucks. But then they are using the small pickups because most of the drivers or entrepreneurs want to participate in that trade of cassava or the industry. So you see a lot of them on that road. So from the village at the border all the way to Abidjan, a lot of people have got work to do. And when you are driving on the road, you see a lot of market women on the streets selling cassava, palm oil, and other things. People easily drive from Abidjan because the network is very good to come and shop there. If we had that system, we would do the same. If we had that infrastructure, we would do the same. We could have driven beyond Insawam and other places for our shopping. We don't all have to go to Aboblushi and buy the things, the goods that have been, I think their prices have been tripled or even sometimes quadrupled from the farm gate to Accra. If your infrastructure is very good, everybody would be involved in the transportation. They that will bring the cost down to the natural level or profit level. But now you have the transport operators and the middle people who engage in that trade making the money at the expense of the consumer and the farmer.
Right. I see, but
because
Doc,
you have a good system.
please say that again.
Because you don't have a good road network.
Mm.
Because the transportation is the problem of moving from the farmer to the consumer.
Right. What exactly will be the short-term and long-term economic benefits that we should expect from this massive road investment?
Thank you. So the massive road investment, if it's successful, and I would say if successful, because even the amount involved may not be sufficient.
Oh,
And
really?
I can refer you to the NGC's manifesto. They talked about $10 billion.
Yeah.
Now we are looking at just over $1 billion. And if you look at the number of projects that have been enlisted, I'm quite cautious that to say that money will be enough. I'm not saying the projects are not.
Doc, kindly repeat what you said. I didn't quite get you.
I'm saying that NDC's manifesto, they had $10 billion for the big push.
Yeah, for the big push, yes.
In the so far, they are talking about 13.8 billion, which is just over $1 billion. And then if you look at the number of projects they are going to cover, there's no prioritization. Okay, so if you don't have enough, you have the financial constraints, you need to prioritize. You look for those that are crucial now. Like I told you, the main arteries in the country. You look at them where which industries are quite critical to have the network to undergo high economic growth. So if you do that, you can easily recoup the money, because if the level of economic activity is high, you can easily recoup the money. As I said here, with even the appropriate level of road tolling, you can. Somebody told me that Côte d'Ivoire, they constructed a toll bridge, a very expensive toll bridge across the lagoon in Abidjan, and it was about between 5 to 10 years ago. Somebody told me they've repaid the cost of it.
I see.
You see, so it's our attitude of government giving everything free. That is what is putting us in this state, because whatever is collected cannot maintain the road.
The roads.
And construct new ones. So with economics, we are always concerned with the allocation of resources. So if you are not ensuring that whatever is needed is paid for, then you will have a problem. So what is the cost of the road use? As a country, we need to determine that. As I told you, those trucks from Burkina Faso and Mali that have congested our roads, are they paying the adequate cost for the road usage? And even the private users of our roads, those driving the V8 and others on our roads, are they paying adequately for the road usage? we may say that they pay the fuel tax, but that may not be adequate.
Right.
Because, as I said, Gadgetsburg found out that the cost of transporting goods by road is much higher than railway.
Railways, right. Mm.
So those trucks, when they ply our roads, the wear and tear is more than private vehicles.
Mm.
So are they paying for the maintenance of the roads? Are they paying adequately for the maintenance of the roads?
I see. So Doc, can we confidently, and we're trying to wrap up very soon, but okay, let me just move away from that. Now, Ghana is currently under an IMF program. Now, given the fiscal constraints and the number of roads, do you think it's realistic to fund this level of investment?
If we can get the funds, it is realistic. But But where do we get the funds from?
But you
from our own budget.
You were just talking about, not to cut you. You were just talking about the number and the need for us to prioritize. So does that mean that we are doing too much?
Yeah, if you don't have the funds, you need to prioritize. And as I said, if you prioritize and get the main ones done, you can get the users to pay for, and then you can get more money to do the others.
But do you have an idea where the funding is coming from? I mean, as an economist who has been monitoring,
I would say the big push. That 18.8 was part of the budget that was read in March. So it will come from our tax revenue. Because now we don't have access to the external market. And as I said, we've used the IMF for our debt repayment or our precarious debt situation. So compared to Cote d'Ivoire, where they use the IMF facility for the infrastructural improvements, we were not able to benefit from that because we had to do that to restructure our debt and also see how best we will be in a position to repay our debt in future.
All right, Doc, we have to go. Our time is fast spent. Maybe just a few questions before we go. Do you believe that roads alone will drive economic transformation, or must it be paired with investments in other sectors?
Okay, thank you. Like I said, Ghana, we've done quite well in other areas, other social overhead capital like education, health, relatively well. But then the road network is constraining now.
Right.
Because you can sometimes when I'm driving from Accra to Kumasi, I feel like enclosed somewhere. Because if I don't leave home before 5, I will spend 6 hours from Accra to Kumasi, and that I feel like I'm not that mobile. You can't do so many things that you could, like I said, in other countries, you could just drive 3 hours, you go and do whatever you want to do and come back. You can't do. So we are currently constrained by our road networks. So if we manage to recapture, we will able to release a lot of our resources for economic growth and development.
Okay. All right, Doc, just before I let you go, you talked about things that we need to do to make this strategy effective. What would you suggest that the government does to make the Big Push strategy very effective?
Thank you very much. Okay, so I've already talked about corruption, the kickbacks, and the other things that prevent the implementation of government policies and projects.
Mm.
The second is to ensure that we have the adequate funds for the duration of the project. And then once we do that as well, we ensure that we have the best contractor for that project.
Mm.
See, it's not our ways have always been to have a party member or a friend or a relative. Even some of them may not have the experience because we are related to them or they are party members. They just go and register a company, and we give them the contract. And that is not done elsewhere. So if we don't move away from that, we will always be inhibited, and we may not be able to complete the project.
Right.
So corruption, funds availability, project management, and making sure the best person has the best contract. So once we do that, then we will be able to have this strategy well implemented. And then once we've completed, we have to make sure that it pays for itself.
Mm.
Because it's not always that the government has to look for money to come and construct roads. Otherwise, we will always be left behind when it comes to road network. Because if you construct the road, they are not forever. If they are for 10 years, so if let's say the 1 billion is just for one road project, you need to provide for the replacement of that road in say 10 to 20 years.
Yeah.
So if we take 10 years, that means every year you should put aside $100 million to maintain that road or to replace that road. So
After 10
it's not
years.
just the construction.
Right.
So it's quite an expensive venture, and our citizens have to be sensitized on that.
Mm.
That is about time we paid for the usage of our roads.
Mm. All right, Doc. Thank you very much for your time and the insights you shared with us this morning. Really, really grateful that you made time.
Thank you very much, and have a nice day.
You do same. Thank you very much. All right. That was Dr. Valentine Mensah, and he was my guest this morning on the Business Breakfast on Z. Of course, a roundtable discussion. And he shared a lot of things in line with the road infrastructure, the big push agenda of the government. The government plans to invest so much into roads this year. And it came out with a long list of roads they want to construct within the next 2 or 3 years. We're asking one question, that is it the right time? Is it the right move at this particular time? And doctor says that yes, it's a right move because road brings enormous benefits to governments, to nations, to the economy. And it's a very important thing that we do. If you miss any part of this conversation, it will be on our on our YouTube page at Z Multimedia, and also on Facebook at ZFMGH. You can visit these platforms and watch the interview. Well, but that's how we wrap up today. A special thank you to our guest, Dr. Valentine Mensah. A special thank you to you as well for listening to us. We've been driving